Hi guys, it's Marnie and today I wanted to share with you some of my 5-star reads this year so far. There hasn't actually been that many and I'm slightly concerned. No, I'm joking. Unless you count the whole of the Throne of Glass series, which I'll get to, there's literally been like 3 5-star reads for me this year. I haven't read too much. I've only read 18 books out of my 50 challenge on Goodreads. If you want to go check out my Goodreads, read some other reviews, definitely go look at that. I'll leave the link in the description. But yeah, today I just wanted to talk about some of the books that I've really enjoyed this year, and I thought, why not make a video on it? So let's just get straight into these bad boys. The first 5-star reads this year is the whole of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. Now this series absolutely blew my mind. Like, I'm so in love with this series. It is up there now with one of my all-time favourite series, like, ever. Like, it's top 3. It's got to be top 3. I enjoyed this series so much. I loved it. My sister's now read it from my recommendation. My boyfriend's reading it. He's about to start the second book. I can't believe I've actually got him to read them as well. But these were just so amazing. Now, I actually listened to the majority of these on audiobook. Now, I read the first book and then I listened to quite a few of them on audiobook. I flitted between, so I would listen to a few chapters while I was at work and then I'd read some of the physical book and then I'd pick up listening where I left off, and I just really enjoyed it. I don't know what it was about listening, but I think it helped me like fully submerge myself into this world. It was just so amazing. Now, this first book, Throne of Glass, follows a girl called Selena Sardovian, and she is the most notorious assassin in the whole of Aurelia. Aurelia is like the whole world of Throne of Glass, until one day she's caught and imprisoned in the salt mines of Endovir. Now, this is basically where she's set to live out the rest of her life, which they don't plan on being too much longer, and she's just supposed to willow away and die there, until one day the prince arrives and offers her a deal, and that is to come with him to the palace and be his champion, to fight in a to the death tournament to become the king's champion. Now, the deal is she'll come to the palace and fight on behalf of the prince to become the king's champion, and if she wins, she will serve the king, being his assassin and a little bit really, for 5 years, and then she earns her freedom. Now, obviously she's going to take the deal. She's not going to stay in Endovir, which is the salt mines, which is like a slave camp where everyone dies within like a week or a month over working for 5 years and regaining her freedom. So she agrees, and it follows her trying to navigate court life and then fighting in the to the death tournament to become the king's champion. Now, that is not all that happens in this series by far, but my dog just coming. Reese! No! But this series was just so amazing. Like, I think I've said amazing like 20,000 times, but that's all I can think of to say. I don't want to give anything more away, but it's just an amazing. So it's a 7-book series, and if you want to know any more than that, I suggest you just read them. Like, just jump in both feet first and just go for it. I promise you, you won't regret it. Now, the second, well, it was actually the first book I finished this year that I gave 5 stars, is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. And this is a sequel to 6 of Crows, and it's set in the Grishaverse. The Grishaverse is this whole world that Leigh Bardugo's already created. And this book basically follows 6 misfits that come together to go and perform a deadly heist that no one thinks they can pull off. And I don't really want to say anything more than that. It's just a very fun, exciting heist book, and it's a lot, and it's very character based. Like, you follow each character and you get to slowly learn their backstories and their connection and how they intertwine. And then the second book is just amazing. You get to meet some reoccurring characters from the Grisha trilogy, and it's just really amazing. I don't really know what else to say. If you have already read them, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've only read 6 of Crows, I definitely suggest going to read Crooked Kingdom, because why not? Like, it's the sequel. It's just amazing. It's such a good duology. If you want to hear any of my other thoughts, spoiler free and spoiler, I have a review on my channel, and I'll leave the link in the description box below. Third book on this list is Credence by Penelope Douglas. Now, I actually gave this book a 4.5 stars, but I just wanted to include it into this video because I really wanted to talk about it. Also, I haven't read that many 5-star books this year, so I just needed to fell out this video a little bit. Anyway, halfway through this book, I was actually considering giving it like 2 stars. There were some parts where I was just so iffy and I didn't really know how I felt about it, but I kept myself going, and by the end of it, it ended up being a book that I thoroughly enjoyed. So this book follows a girl called Tyrion. At the very beginning of the book, both of her parents commit a double suicide, and it leaves Tyrion a couple of months away from her 18th birthday with nowhere to go. They actually leave her in the custody of her dad's estranged stepbrother. So she has to go and live out the remaining time leading up to her 18th birthday with her step uncle in the Colorado mountains and his 2 sons. Now she gets there and wow is all I can say. I don't really know what else to say other than that. Just know that this book is absolutely filthy. Like, I have read my fair share of raunchy, dirty, like, romances. Like, I've read 50 Shades, and this book is filthy. Like, there are parts where I was actually kind of uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I don't know, it was just making me a bit squeamish, and I was a bit like, what's going on? But in the end, I gave it a 4.5 stars because I just couldn't get it out of my head. Like, I just couldn't put the book down, and I just kept wanting to read to find out who she was going to end up with. And her character development throughout this book was really good, watching her find herself and her self-worth, and that was all just really amazing. And then, yeah, it's a bit weird, like, I'm not gonna lie. When winter rolls around, their home up in the mountains gets snowed in, and you can't leave their land to go to town or to do anything. So she's stuck up there for 6 months with her uncle and her 2 step cousins, and she ends up sleeping with all of them. Like, she sleeps with them all. She bounces from bed to bed to bed, and it's a bit weird. Some of them at the same time. I know, like I said, it's absolutely filthy, but it's good. Like, it's good. Don't let that put you off. If you've read anything else by Penelope Douglas, like Birthday Girl, where she falls in love with her boyfriend's dad, you know, them kind of books, they seem bad, but when you're reading them, she has a way of making not actually as bad as they seem. But yeah, altogether, it is a really good book, and I'd recommend it. Obviously, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're into that kind of taboo romance, then definitely go check it out. This probably is the book for you. It's, for what it is, for the genre it is, it's actually a really amazing book. So yeah, go figure out how you feel about it all by yourself, and definitely let me know in the comments after. Now, the last book I want to mention in this video is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. Now, this book is so heartbreakingly beautiful. Like, I just was in my feels this whole book. I do have to say, the beginning I found a little bit slow getting into, but as soon as I bypassed like that 40%, I was just hooked. I was so in it, and the ending made up for the slower beginning tenfold. Like, it was just so emotional. Like, it tugged on all of my heartstrings, and I loved the character development and the characters and how they intertwined and the whole message. I just really enjoyed this book so much. In this book, we follow a girl called Sam, and she suffers with purely obsessional OCD, and that's basically where she obsesses over thoughts. Obsesses over every thought. She'll get a thought that pops into her head, and she'll obsess and obsess over it until it's the only thing she can think about. She has panic attacks, and it's just really hard on her. Like, it's a disorder you wouldn't want, like, you wouldn't wish on anyone, and she has a really hard time with it. But she's one of the popular girls in school, and she feels like if she comes out and tells her friends about it, she won't be socially accepted, which we all know is silly, and it's so not true. But in this world, that's how Sam feels. So she's had to live with it in secret, where she doesn't tell anyone except her mum and her therapist, until one day she bumps into a girl called Caroline in school, and Caroline immediately sees that Sam is suffering somehow. Like, she needs a friend to come and kind of, I don't know, make her life a little bit better. So Caroline takes Sam down to Poet's Corner. This is a secret room filled with a bunch of the school's misfits, where they all come together and perform poetry and share their love for poetry and spoken word and songs, and it's just a really special and amazing place. Sam makes a connection with the room and the people there immediately, and she just begins this journey of self-discovery and finding her self-worth and realizing that she isn't so crazy, and she just starts to feel a lot more normal. She makes friends with these people, and it's just a really good romance self-discovery young adult book, like a 5-star read for a lot of people. I know a lot of people absolutely love this book. I've heard booktubers talk about it for years. It's now up there with one of my favourite standalones. I just couldn't not recommend it to anyone. I obviously know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're interested in any kind of romance or YA books, I promise you, you'll love it. They're my 5-star and 4.5-star reviews for this year. Definitely let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you rated them. And if you want to go look at any of my other reviews, go check out my Goodreads. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!